Welcome to the Embracing Singleness podcast with your host, my sister, Elder Prophetess Shimika Bowers. The purpose of this podcast is to change the perception of being saved and single from being an obstacle to being a blessing, while embracing our singleness to help build functional relationships as Christ so desires. So again, let's welcome our host, Prophetess Shimika Bowers.
Welcome back to Embracing Singleness podcast. Thank you for being with me during this series. Please forgive me, I've got a cough drop in my mouth. Keeps me from coughing. Sinuses is something else. However, we are now on sign 5. This series has been embracing your singleness. 5 signs that you are with the wrong person. Doesn't necessarily mean romantic. It's just you're with in the wrong friendship, wrong relationship. So let's recap real quick. If you've not catched 1 through 4, please go back and listen to it. Red flag number 1, if they are not consistently pursuing Jesus, stop right where you're at. Don't proceed any further. Do not continue to waste any more time. If they do not have a relationship with Christ, not the one for you, baby. Not the one for you. I don't care how fine he is, how good he smells. I don't care how good she look in heels and the red bottoms. Doesn't matter. If you're saved, stop. Don't proceed any further. Red flag number 2. When those you love don't love who you're with. Listen, I put out a disclaimer. Make sure the ones that you love actually love you. Please go back and listen to that podcast so that you understand what love really looks like and what God says love actually is. Red flag number 3. When you don't experience healthy conflict. James 1:19 through 20 tells us everyone should be quick to listen, slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. So, if you don't experience healthy conflict, if you're breaking up, making up, and on the vicious cycle of that, if you are experiencing any type of abuse, any type, red flag, stop, don't proceed. So that's red flag number 3. Last week we covered when you find it difficult to trust the one you're with. That was flag number 4. Flag number 4. If you don't trust them, you don't have a relationship. If you don't trust them, you don't have a friendship. Sorry. No trust, no relationship. It's fake. It's a shell of a relationship. I don't care how well you take pictures together. I don't care how many times or how nice you look and matching outfits and all of that. All of that doesn't matter. That is fictional. That is something on the outside. That it's not real. It's not real. So if you don't trust them, let them go. All right, so that brings us to red flag number 5. When they are leading you away from Jesus instead of closer to him. Let me say that one more time. When they are leading you away from Jesus instead of closer to him. Matthew 24:4 says, see that no one leads you astray. Okay? So some questions you need to ask yourself. Are you growing closer to Jesus with this person? Or are you drifting further away? If you find yourself drifting further away, stop. 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 Because let me say this. If you are with someone who is in competition with your gift, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you have someone who gets jealous when it's your time to be with Christ. You should have an appointed set time that you are in a relationship where you're talking to Christ, and it's just you and him. Kids must wait, spouse must wait, job must wait. Everything halts. Everything is on hold while you have that individual time with Christ himself. Because it's needed. It's needed. Listen, this is embracing singleness, but listen, even when you get married, you need to have some alone time with the one who created you. You've got to have some alone time. Listen, not going to church consistently. Listen, that's a red flag, but that also says something about you. Okay. If you are in a relationship with Christ, you just can't show up on Easter Sunday, on Christmas to celebrate his birthday. Nah, that says you don't really have a relationship. You have religion. So if y'all are not consistently going to church and learning and applying, you can go to church every Sunday. You can go to church 7 days a week and sit in the pews and still be headed to hell. Because if you are not applying what you are being taught, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're not growing. You're not learning. You're just taking up space on a pew. But in a relationship, you both need to be going to church. You need to be constantly pursuing Jesus. That was the red flag number one. Breaking commitments you made to God. Listen, let me help us. Let me help you. When you get a mate, or when you are in a friendship, or any type of relationship, if you are having to break your commitments that you made to God, they're not with you because they are not for you, because if they were for you, they would make sure that they are not standing in your way of commitments that you've already made to God. What does that look like? If you are a member of whatever ministry you're a member of, when you became a member, you made a commitment to God. You made a commitment to the leaders. So if your church service is on Sundays at 11 o'clock, you're committed to be in the house on Sundays at 11 o'clock. I am a strong believer in that. And I'm one that I don't break commitments I made to God. Because if you break a commitment to God, listen, I tell people and I tell guys, if you're not committed to God, you'll never be committed to me. Think about that. If it rains and you decide not to go to church, how committed are you? If it's too cold outside and you don't want to go to church, how committed are you? How committed are you? Listen, if you're having to compromise sexually, not the one for you. Listen, ladies. When he loves you, the Bible teaches us a man who finds a wife finds a good thing and favor with God. Listen, you are the favor. You are the favor. So don't compromise who you are. Don't compromise from what God created you to be. Listen, if he loves you, he'll change your name. And it don't take years for him to do it. Listen to the scripture. A man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Listen, men love the chase. That's what they're created to do. So they're always looking. So if you find a man that still struggles, if he wants to marry you, he's not the one. He knows. He knows. I'm still talking to saved people. We're not talking about people of the world. I'm talking about saved people. If you're in a relationship with Christ, you're going to know and you're going to hear his voice on the right person for you. Rationalizing sin together. Listen, sex, living together, whatever you're doing together that goes against the word of God. No. Listen. Let's have a quick 60-second discussion. I'm assuming everybody on here is 18 and over. Sex taints your vision. Sex lowers your standards. Sex clouds your judgment. Period. That's why you need to have sex when you're married. Because sex will have us in situations longer than what we need to be. Sex will fool us and trick us into thinking that we're in love. And we're not. We're not. Truth be told, when we're not having sex, I don't even really like you as a person. Listen, red flag. Red flag. Yeah, I pause. I need you to think about it. Because in this season, we need to understand, to have something different, we have to do something different. To have something different, we have to do something different. Listen, if you're dating or you're in a relationship and you have these signs, no matter how hard it may be, you gotta cut the cord. You gotta cut the cord. We will be discussing that in a series coming up, Breaking Soul Ties. This series right here is wrapping up, the 5 red flags. Let's recap one more time. 5 red flags. The first one is they aren't consistently pursuing Jesus. Number 2, the people you love don't feel good about them. Number 3, you don't experience healthy conflict. Number 4, you don't trust them or they don't trust you. Number 5, they are leading you away from Christ. Those are the 5 signs. Listen, I need for you to journal that. I need for you to think real hard on that, because as we get ready to tap into this next series, Breaking Soul Ties, that is what our next series is going to be on. If you have self-evaluated your relationship and you're meeting these signs, I know it's hard to get out. The next series is going to teach you how to break the soul tie. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. A lot of us want what God has for us, and we can't get it because we're holding on to the very thing that he told us to let go of. Again, this series is not just based on relationships. There comes times when you may have to cut ties with mama. You may have to cut ties with daddy. You may have to cut ties with your children's father, your children's mother, just so that you can be in right standing with God, number 1. Number 2, for you to heal and to set boundaries. It's going to be necessary. However, I'm not just going to bring you out here, open you up, and drop you off. This next series, we will be covering how to break soul ties. So, if you have not joined us on the Embracing Singleness Zoom, please do so. I got to get my cough drop back. Sorry. Please do so. It is every other Monday, the 2nd and 4th Monday of every month at 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. This podcast drops on all social media platforms. Also, Join us on Embracing Singleness CLT on Facebook. It is a group. You do have to be part of the group to be able to get invited to the Zoom call. And that is because we do take your confidentiality very serious. We are here to heal and not to judge. So as I say always, God is the greatest power and you are not defeated. Till next time, bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Embracing Singleness podcast with Prophetess Shimika Bowers. We ask that you follow us on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube.